Okay. The Dodge Hornet, the most hated car on the internet. I honestly don't know if there's another car that, as soon as you mention it, people have an immediate opinion about it, which is really good. I want to, the thing, the thing I wanted to talk about was why it was such a flop, why it's so hated, and why in the future, and people are gonna love to hate this one, why in the future this is going to be one of those little gem cars that you will want to drive and find and buy. And it's true. So the quick little history of the Dodge Hornet. Alfa Romeo saw an opening in the car market for a little luxury SUV. And because they're owned by Stellantis, the umbrella company that everybody hates too, they went to Jeep, and they took the chassis body frame of the Jeep Compass, which was a terribly ugly looking car and fell apart as it was driving along the road. So they took the frame of this car, completely redesigned everything else, all the body panels, all the interior. They spent tons of time, tons of money to make this one-off car that would reinvigorate, in theory, this was the whole idea of doing this car, reinvigorate Alfa Romeo. Because I think at the time they had the Stelvio, they had the Giulia, and neither of those were selling very well. However, the small SUV market, the compact SUV market, was selling like hotcakes. They wanted in on it. So they spent their time, money, engineer time redesigning the Tonale. They were going to make it the hybrid to break into that electric car, green driving aspect. Then Dodge, seeing the same things, obviously, they needed another little SUV. They wanted their own. The president or CEO there of the Dodge, famous for his challengers, the Hellcats, the Red Eyes, the Demons, was stepping down. And they were going to be losing those cars because they were going all electric. Dodge looked at what Alfa Romeo was doing and said, hey, we can steal that without too much trouble and quickly throw it together and put it out for sale. And that's what they did. They changed a little bit of the body panel styling. They changed very little in the interior. They got the Dodge rhombus instead of the Alfa Romeo happy emblem. Kept the 2-liter turbo, which is heroically fun, by the way. And without testing it, without proving it, they just put it on sale. Now, Dodge being Dodge, with terrible customer service, which is kind of funny at the time, because Stellantis was trying to make Jeep a luxury brand, and they were trying to make Dodge the hot rod brand, and keep it at the hot rod brand. Like at the time I bought this car in 2023, Dodge was only selling the Challenger, the Charger, the Durango, and this. We only had 4 cars. And then I think they were getting rid of the Durango, so they were only going to be selling 3 for 2023 and or 2024 and on. They got rid of their minivan. Yeah, I don't know. The years before this, these cars, Dodge Jeep Chrysler's cars were ugly. So Jeep is a failure. They're trying to promote it as a luxury brand where they're sending out a standard car for luxury prices. They don't back up with their customer service. Maybe they do for the Hellcats and stuff. I really don't know. I just know dealing with Dodge and their customer service stuff is really terrible, especially if they want to be promoting a luxury item. The old story, Lexus was introducing a brand new luxury model, brand new name. They had shit go on with their cars, their first launch. They sent out people in white vans, in white lab coats to go fix these recalls so that people felt like they were getting treated well, even though they had a lemon of a car. Dodge introduces this Hornet, telling everybody it's going to be this hot rod of the SUVs. And they're trying to promote this to, the big V8 crowd. The big V8 hot rod crowd. And what it is, it's a tiny little 4-cylinder rally car engine. Granted, it's fast in all of that, but you're promoting a hot rod, which is what this is supposed to be, this Dodge Hornet. It's not. It is a luxury SUV. I was watching a video and a guy was, slamming the Hornet. But he looks at the interior of this and he goes, "Oh, geez, this interior should be in the Hellcat. This interior should be in a Charger." Because I did. I was at the dealer there and I was looking inside these Chargers, and I'm like, "You're paying what? $120,000, and you have to sit in this crappy interior when you're driving this thing around?" I was not impressed. And I couldn't believe the sticker price that people are paying for those, because for equivalent price, you can go get a nice Audi. You can go get a nice BMW. And, the Hellcats and all of that, yeah, I guess, if you're into the hot rod thing. But if you're paying that kind of money, the thing about hot rods is that they're supposed to be cheap. And they were supposed to have big power. And when you looking at the Hellcats, like the Red Eyes and stuff, it's not cheap. It's really not cheap. And they're throwing this little SUV with the 267, 270 horsepower as the gas version. I'm not even going to talk about the hybrid because it's a waste of time. Everybody was excited for the hybrid too. That's hilarious, and they can't even get that right. Anyway, that's silly. But they brought out this little SUV, promoted it as the hot rod, and it does. It's got some plain styling on the outside. The interior is the same as the Alpha, but then they put this massive sticker price on it, which, when I was looking for cars at the time, for you to get something equivalent to this actually was the better buy. Price for price, options for options. And it's actually a fun car. But nobody listens to that. People have a bad taste in their mouth from Dodge doing this, taking another Alpha, turning it into a little hot rod or a little speedy demon thing to go against the Japanese cars, the little Japanese cars and things, which was that Dodge Dart. Hey, and people who have owned those Darts, they really liked them. Could have used more power, of course. But I mean, they took an Alpha, they gave it some ugly styling, and then put it out for sale. Nobody wanted it. You know, only people who were diehard Dodge people and didn't have money could go and buy one of those little cars, basically, and say they had something cool, which wasn't the case with this SUV. With the Dodge Hornet, it wasn't the cheap choice, and it was not for a Dodge fan. If you were a diehard Dodge fan, they all laughed at this. When they started taking them to car shows and showing it off pre-launch, people couldn't figure it out. They couldn't get their head around, you know, which was a good, and which is a good thing, because this is the next part of this. There were runs of this car that were quality control wise very poor. And we talked about this on the Dodge Hornet Owners Forum. Because me and a similar guy, we bought them. We sort of bought them around the same time. I mean, I bought mine later. He bought his earlier. Mine was just delivered, but it landed in Canada on the other side, where the eastern side of Canada. But mine and his Hornet were the same run. I checked my sticker. He checked his sticker. We both confirmed. Yeah, we both got the same run. He's got no problems. I have no problems. And a lot of people on the forum too, they don't have problems. The noisy people are the ones who got the bad runs with the kinked wiring harnesses and the overhead light continuous problem and the screen shutting off. Weird things, weird, glitchy, gremlin-y electrical software things. But I knew going in, it's a brand new run of a brand new car, and you always get bad things because you're basically sorting out the engineering for the engineers and reporting back to them, this is what's going on, and they go make a fix for the next couple of runs or whatever it is, right? And everybody knew that on the forum. And some people just got these rotten lemon tomatoes, man. Absolute lemons. Where the car spent more time in the shop than waiting for fixes or waiting for updates or waiting for something, waiting for parts, and then they would get it out and they'd run it and it would break again, and then it would be back at the dealership sitting and waiting. Quite a lot of people enacted lemon laws on it in the States. Some people just literally walked away from it, said, here, take it back, I'll take the loss, I can't deal with this. So everybody was kind of on edge on the forum, especially the new people coming in. Oh, geez, I just bought a Dodge and it seems like it's hit and miss. And it is hit and miss. And I know that from Dodge. I do. It is so hit and miss. Some are good, some are bad. It was the same with their trucks. It was the same with their small trucks. It was the same with all of their makes and models. You'll find people that have driven these things for 300,000 kilometers and not a problem. Regular maintenance only. Just runs like a Toyota. Eats more gas, of course. I mean, that's Dodge. All their cars eat too much gas. But the point is that you'll get a hit and miss with Dodge. And that's why, you look at Dodge, and even if you're a diehard Dodge fan and you stand behind the company, you've always had a good one. The rest of the world can't look at it like that. I can't, you can go, not lately, of course, not the modern Toyotas, but you can go buy a Toyota because with a sound mind, knowing that you're not going to get a hit or miss, right? Your vehicle will be as reliable as the next Toyota, and that's not the same with Dodge. That has not been the thing with Dodge. The people who are saying, oh, Dodges are reliable, are the people who've had good ones and have stuck with them. But those are the exceptions to the rule that Dodges are hit and miss when it comes to quality control and reliability. Now, customer service as well, because horror stories of the customer service stuff. I know on the forum they have this Dodge Cares thing, so if you've got a problem, you talk to them right away, and they set up a ticket and a line of communication to the car. And obviously, because that's what the forum is for, was for the engineers to hear what's going on with the car and to fix what the problems are, right? And so far, they've pretty much been useless in that end to help people out. I'm pretty sure it's helping out Dodge that way. But that Dodge Cares thing has nothing to do with keeping people happy. As much as they say they are, and as much as probably the people on the other end of the interaction are saying, yeah, we really like to help people out. But it doesn't help. But the reason why this car is actually going to be a gem in the future is because nobody's buying them. So it's going to be semi-rare. Literally nobody's buying them. They're actually deteriorating on lots now. That's how hated this car is. The second thing is that it's actually a really fun car. But people aren't willing to pay the sticker price to find out. And when I mean, and I'm talking about the gas version, I'm not talking about the hybrid thing. Because the hybrid thing, I don't know. That was so complicated. They really needed to test that out, and they didn't, and they're not. And now Dodge is in real trouble, and they're not going to be able to fix it, probably. Because nobody's buying these cars, and there's no reason for them to keep making them. So in the future, when these have been on the road and they've all got 200,000 kilometers and things start going on them electrically, like all the connections and things, people are going to start walking away from these. Because the people who buy these are not BMW owners or Mercedes owners, where they're looking at this car like it's a domestic brand. Like it should be cheap to fix, like a Ford. And it's not. Trying to find rims for this car, I tried to find, they didn't come with spare tires. And they couldn't even, there's a special donut for this car. You can't just put on any donut. So the special order donut from an aftermarket party was like $600 Canadian, 630 or something like that. So I quickly went and priced out. I found a rim for it. No, I didn't. But I was looking at a rim, and put on a full size spare to keep with me in the car. I phoned around to the tire shops. They all had the tires, of course, but none of them actually had the rims, and they couldn't find the rims. I gave it to one guy on the island there from Big O Tires. Big shout out. Go to the Big O Tires in Victoria, guys. Those guys know what they're doing. But he found me a rim for this car, and he said, "Whoa, did I have trouble finding a rim for that?" I said, "Well, yeah, it's a European car. It's not a Dodge, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, okay, that explains it. It's Italian, yeah. It's all weird ratios for the bolt nut pattern and things like that. And it still didn't fit. He still had to get a little spacer to put around the hub there in order for the spare to fit on there." And a couple of guys on the forums, the same thing. They went out and tried to find a full size spare, and they ran into the same problem. Rims are hard to find. And this is what this is. This is a European luxury car. As far as you think Alpha is a luxury brand, right? If you're an Alpha fan, you get it. If you're not, you'll just make fun of it. But when I first sat in this car, I was impressed. Was it worth the $50,000 that you have to pay for them? I don't think cars are worth what you're paying for them right now, but those are the prices. And a lot of people have stopped buying the new cars because they're too expensive. But sometimes you're in a bind, like I was. I needed a car, it had to be brand new, and it had to be a decent one. Usually it all worked out differently, but I ended up at a Dodge dealership, ended up with this Hornet. I got it, I've been driving it, I'm impressed with it. I am so happy. The next closest good-looking SUV in this segment was probably the Mazda 5. The Tiguan was ugly. The Rav is ugly. The CRV is ugly. I mean, start going down the list, and none of them evoke fun, pleasure, or anything. And you get in it, you're getting into an appliance. This is not an appliance, and the people on the farm will tell you that too. These things are actually really fun to drive. It's hilarious how fun. I don't like SUVs, never did, never thought I'd own one, and I'm glad that I found this thing. It was like the universe kind of like got me to that place and got me to do what I got to do and made the deal on it and drove it sight unseen, never heard of before. And even though I'm driving a Dodge, I feel good because I'm driving a European car. And they feel different than the Japanese cars, and and American cars don't even compare. Yeah, this thing is going to be so 20 years from now, 10 years from now, these things are going to be coming up on used car sites and on used car lots, right? And you'll be going on YouTube, go, oh, 10-year-old cars, which ones are fun SUVs, which ones are good SUVs, or people will be making YouTube videos about, the fun SUVs that you can buy for $20,000 or $15,000, right? And this will be on the list. And the reason, and here's the other reason, actually, people don't really like this car is because it's complicated to explain. The whole thing, everything about it is complicated to explain. The reliability is complicated. Either you got a good one or you got a bad one. You have to explain that to somebody. And as a salesman, to try to sell this car or to do a write up about it, you have to mention that. What this car actually is difficult to explain. You can just say it's a Dodge Hornet, but it's not a Dodge. There is not one word written on this car that says Dodge. It comes up in the software on, I think, the Uconnect screen. The only thing that will tell you it's a Dodge are Mopar stickers that are in Italian. All the stickers under the hood are Italian. I pulled off the door panels because I was actually looking. This is a fun game you can play if you're a Hornet owner. Bet your friend $50 or $100 or something like that. Say, here, if you can find the word Dodge written on this car, you can have this $50. They will never find it. I pulled off door panels. There is no word here that says Dodge on this. There's Stellantis, there is Mopar, and that's it. It says Hornet. It does not say Dodge. Which is, how do you explain that to somebody? Right? It becomes complicated. And when it becomes complicated, you got to explain things to somebody, their brain shuts off. Absolutely. 100%. They're like, this is too complicated. Next. Toyota, reliability, done. Not Dodge, Hornet, Alfa Romeo. What? Italian? Huh? There's good ones, bad ones? How do I know I'm getting a good one? Oh, this is too much. Walk away. But the gems that will make it, like the cars that actually got their things fixed, will last. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll make it through for the 15, 20-year mark. And this is when these cars are going to become absolute gems for people to be driving around. Absolutely. If you hated this video, I knew you would. Like and subscribe. If you liked something in this video, like and subscribe. If you want more Dodge Hornet stuff, say it down in the comments. Actually, you know what? If you hate this car, let me hear your rant. I love reading about this stuff. I really do. Yes, okay. I'll see you next time.